Good morning. So, got another one here for you called Trenches. And basically, it's about my career in the corporate world since I was 22. So, after I was a golf caddy at Sherwood Country Club, I was like 21 and I was selling TVs at Circuit City that is now bankrupt. And this woman walks in with her son and we hit it off, and she bought over $20,000 worth of merchandise for her son, who was going to get his MBA at Pepperdine in Malibu. And so it was the biggest sale of my life at that point. Sold them appliances, TVs, VCRs, whatever. Yeah, this was back like in 1993 or 1994. So she ended up hiring me to work for her husband, that is the richest man in Canada at the time, for the largest privately owned distributor of semiconductors. So that was pretty much my first corporate job. It was sales. It was $10 an hour salary, which was horrific. That's like 20 grand a year, plus a really shitty commission structure. And I lasted 4 years because I didn't have a college degree yet, and I just wanted to prove myself to the world that I can do this. But it was 4 years of hell. It was like boot camp, man. My general manager would walk up and down the aisles while we're sitting in our cubicles, and she'd be screaming, "Pick up the phones, answer the phones, make more calls." Yeah, so I think that's where my work ethic probably really came from, was her beating me up, and I thank her for that. And so again, I left there in like 1999, started in 1995. So I lasted a few years, 4 years. So then I find out 20 years later that the owner, who's based in Canada, was accused of having sex with minors for the last decades, and it was shocking. It was a big corporation, $5 billion company. So it was just all bullshit. People are fucked up in this world. They're corrupt. I was shocked. Anyways, he's in hospice on his deathbed. So I guess the Canadian government's not going to do anything with him or push him to court or anything like that. But his legacy is going down the tubes. And he was forced to sell his company to some Korean company for $5 billion. So I still have nightmares today after all these years about working there. I have these dreams where I'm suddenly in an office selling semiconductors, making no money and trying to understand their old software system, and very frustrated and lost all my knowledge of integrated circuits and all that crap. And I'm not an engineer, and surrounded by assholes that I used to know, that I used to work with there. And because I was one of the youngest to get hired at 22. So, I was picked on a lot. Yeah, it was a brutal existence. And I think the best decision I made was when I resigned in 1999 to go into other industries. So after I resigned, I became an IT software recruiter for about a year. That was grueling, making like 150 to 200 cold calls a day to HR people and getting hung up on 99.9% of the time. But I lasted a year because they gave me a decent salary to pay my rent. And then after that, I was part of the dot-com boom bust. Worked like a year for this dot-com in Burbank that I thought was doing really well. Then they burned through like $30 million and went bankrupt. So then I found a job online to work in the freight industry for this startup in Santa Monica. And I started from nothing. There were maybe 15 employees, and I just had a phone and a computer, and I had some woman in my room next to me teaching me the business, but she was so annoying, and I just heard her speaking real loud. She had this Boston accent and always, all over me to make the phone calls and get through to people, blah, blah, blah. So it was like 2 years of complete madness, of just cold calling warehouses and companies, trying to sell them, my trucking services. And I slowly built a client base over that time. And then another couple years working for them, I had a customer that was having financial issues, and they owed us like $100,000. So it took like 6 months, and they finally FedExed a check to our company. And while the check was in transit, I got fired. So my hands-off manager, who always never helped me and always read everything from Business Book 101, just because she had an MBA, she thought she was higher than the rest, and she had no clue what operations really insisted of. And so she fired me, and I walked out, and I was pissed, and they never paid me my 15 grand in commissions that they owed me. So, my eyes wide open. That's the first real deception bullshit I had to deal with in the corporate world. So after that, I found a job in freight, and I was able to move my customers to a small brokerage in Northern California and work for them. I was with them for 14 years before they sold out to this huge corporation I'm with now. So yeah, the business world is brutal. It's not much different from war. Everyone's cutting each other's throats, shooting each other politically, and trying to get through it all. But I still found that sales is the best way to go. I'm 100% commission. I have no salary. I have no benefits. I pay over $800 a month just for my private medical insurance. So yeah, the expenses are high, but I have write-offs, and I'm probably making 3 times more money than I would make if I were a salaried W-2. That's America. That's what you got to do. You got to take risks. But I had a client base when I transferred them from that shitty company to a small brokerage. And I was fortunate that the customers followed me, and I was able to keep building and working and grinding. Been in the trenches for 30 years, and I'm still going. Anyways, enjoy this video. It's called Trenches, and it's from my heart. Pretty much a true story, and I had a good time making it. It took a lot of creativity, and I'll see you on the next video. I came to the show pretty late in the game, and I've been too busy chasing other rats and chasing my tail. Now I am seeing if I can put some reality in this fairy tale. Paid my dues way back when, in the days I could not find zen, grinding to the bone in a frantic tunnel vision zone. Ball and chain to a desk in an office so grotesque. Micromanaged, my hands-off manager just caused me more internal anger. So I did it my way, screw your tools. Unconventional and outlandish, cannot be molded, cannot conform. I cannot follow the arrogant leader and be part of the norm. You still owe me 15 grand in commission after 20 years, you bastard. Green like a banana, learning from the start. Every phone call made me more smart. On my own now, 100 cold calls a day. This was my gateway, finding truth behind the smokescreen. Like a well-oiled machine, efficient to the max, consistency and perseverance kept building my tracks. Thick skin like a rhino, rejection or not, every no is closer to a yes, no matter the stress. Knowledge kept adding to my arsenal. Just had to believe one day I would be set free. But I keep having these dreams that they are chasing me. Slowly rounding the edges and polishing the stone. From green to savvy and finally on my own. Once a diamond in the rough,
now fighting harder than ever as life continues to be tough. Fortunately, my customers followed me, and the rest is history. But the reality is I'm still grinding to the bone. Make it known, we are mostly alone. Swimming in the trenches, moving forward, inches by inches. This is where we produce to survive. No end zone in sight, but we stay and we fight. Enemies on the other line, on a field full of landmines, as we play the game in our minds. Competition is immense, intense, under every circumstance. It can be unkind, but you have to make a move and grind to prove your existence. When you are on the fence and not playing, you are either retired or a newborn. Either way, we all get ripped up and torn.